Are we live streaming, Brother Smith? Can I get 2 volunteers that have memory? I mean, what you're saying also? Okay, coming back. Coming back. coming back. Was Steve okay? I get you. All right, mindfulness. Yeah, mindfulness basically is about shutting out distractions and focusing. It's like a laser focus idea. People talk about it, about being in the moment. So this is all I'm dealing with. So a graphic approach to it is that why would I be concerned about mosquitoes when I'm, in a lake with crocodiles? That's the kind of thing. So that's where you focus. It's a singular focus on something that is important. So all sorts of distractions. So when you're in that meditation, the only thing you want to think about, is this issue of forgiveness. That is a problem for you. So something when come and say fire, maybe the food, or you eat for lunch, somebody going, whatever it is, all of that you need to just box. Those are passing things that you don't. You might say, okay, fine, I see this, I will deal with that tomorrow. But right now, it's about forgiveness. I might deal with that next week, or no, but I mean, right now, that's junk. But right now, it's about forgiveness. That's mindfulness. It's just a singular focus in the moment, one thing. Good? All right. I promise you, Crystal, that this is the last step in terms of forgiveness. Come on, bother me about it. Oh, they say this was the last. Crystal talk already. Okay. So I love frameworks. Frameworks help us to understand complex things. Yeah, so that we know the body, because we can look at the skeleton, we can know what things pass, whatever. So the framework that I want to look at is a framework for forgiveness. And so it's who, what, where, when, why. I like the how before the why. So let us just go through an exercise as to how we would use this. The who. First of all, the issue come up. Who are involved? Who are the people involved in this issue of forgiveness? What happened? Who? What is the relationship? Is it somebody I know well? Is it somebody I have a problem with a long time? All of the who questions related to the relationship. Yes? So, in the instant case, Fonzie and Steve have the problem all the time. Them seem to be at war all the time, etc. So it is not surprising that this thing that Fonzie think that Steve did has ticked him off, because it's just like when him did do this before, it's just like that, whatever. So the context of the who is important. Who is involved? What's the story? What's the backstory that people talk about related to this relationship? Is this a new thing? Is this a Sister Madge, who is such a wonderful person, who said this, and maybe she never really said it, maybe never hear it properly, or she never really mean to say it, or how it landed me? Or is it Stephen, who always say hurtful things to me? So I know, even though it never come across as hurtful, I've never sound like hurtful, me know. So it means to be hurtful. So I might try put diplomacy over it, but me know that him really mean. Yeah, you understand? So that is the important part to me in terms of the who. When we're looking at the incident, when we're looking at this thing, I'm assuming that it's not in the moment, right? That's now, this is what you're not supposed to do, the rumination. This is the after the event now, where you go home and you say, but really and truly, and that him really said. Right, so that's the part now. Who are the, what's the backstory with relation to the who? The what? What did he really say? What really is at stake here? What is the real issue? Forget the history. Me know stay bad. Me know whatever it is. But today, let's also separate everything else. Yes, he might take advantage of you all the time. Yeah. But today, what happened? What are you mad about today? What are you upset about today? What is really the issue? And does it really matter? Is that issue of such importance that you should have carried with you? Or is that something to forget? People ask this question, I don't know how, whether it is scripture. Is St. Peter going to ask you about it when you reach up there? So, in other words, is it something of eternal importance or not? What? Can you just shake that off? Yes or not? Remember one of them practices that we taught you? Shake off the anger management. Anyway, so that's it. Can I just shake it off? What is it? All right. The way it relates to the context. Were you alone? Is there people around? And it's embarrassing because people are going to think this, and if me not defend myself, all of that. So the where is important in terms of context. Where did it happen? Imagine the person coming on my yard and tell me that, whatever. You understand the where is, right? Okay. So we'll do some discussion about some way that we can practice this. The timing. So just last week, we talked to him about the same thing. And believe, just last week, and him come back again with it. No, this is a habit. We have to stop it. This is a habit. You have to be forgiven, but if me allow it to go on another time, he might think, you know the timing thing. All right? Or just I leave church, I'm in a good place, and imagine the devil, say the devil really and truly, the devil in him, they can't look. Yeah. So the timing is important in terms of how we perceive this thing, how we will deal with it. Right? And the how. How did it take place? Now we go back through the operations. What really happened, what led up to it, etc. What led up to it, brethren, is critical. Because there's a question that we have to ask ourselves sometimes is, what is your role in this? My role, we don't have anything to do with it. I'm me provoking. Yeah. But could you have X, Y, Z? And if you had X, Y, Z, would this have happened? I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying to you, though, just let us look at the process. Where did it start? How did it happen? What were the antecedents? Just let's go through it. And then you can see. Maybe you don't solve this one, but maybe the next time you can move your foot out of the way so that you don't have to step on it. Okay? And why? Why would this man want to test me? Why? Why am I placed in this family? Why didn't I send home Stephen? Steve. I want fancy dog. Fancy a big old man. When you go live somewhere, when I still up under mother house. Why? Right. Okay. Motive. Why? Okay. All right. So, can we look at, I know it's not related to you at all, but can we come up with a theoretical scenario and see if we can apply the framework? Anybody? Could imagine a case of where somebody is challenged to forgive, and we could apply, come up with a scenario. Yes, sure. Excellent. That would be best. Okay. Okay, it's a good story. Now give me, yeah. Come now. No, let's talk about it. No, it's a good story.
So what am I supposed to do now?
I don't know. Let us work on it together. I don't want them to speak on. No one can speak on anybody. So yeah, let's start out the story, the basic story. What's the basic story? One of the sons was favored, right?
Yes, I think both were favored. Jacob was favored by Rebecca, and Esau was favored by Isaac because of their differences in disposition. Jacob was an inside house kind of a mother's boy, and Esau was hunter, kind of manly kind of guy.
All right. So we go back and say again, one of the boys was favored because what the father favored don't have no value. I don't know what I can't remember the business, but the mother run things, right? So okay. So basically, Jacob was favored. Time come for blessing. We jump into that street.
I mean, it depends. I think when it's the nature of the relationship, I think there, even before the incident, it was pretty contentious because they were twins, but one was slightly older than the other.
Right.
So I feel like childbirth and the blessings there is a little different for twins than it is for firstborn and secondborn.
Okay. All right. So we're looking at the who still, right? The nature of the relationship. So there might have been tension from that as well, you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know which are the incidents we're looking at, if it is the selling of the birthright.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to finally.
The stealing of it, the blessing. Because I think there are two incidents. There's the selling of the birthright, which that would create the kind of foundation for a very tense relationship when the stealing of the blessing took place.
No, let's go to the stealing, because that is where the animosity would have come in, where the idea of forgiveness would come in. Right? Because before, when I celebrate, right, I don't celebrate, right, I'm hungry. I'm business. I have no art against you, and you comfortable because you have the birthright. No. Where the thing is now is where you thief my blessings. No. Could I forgive that? That's where it is. All right, so we have the relationship, right? We are saying it's a dysfunctional situation.
Yeah.
Here it is that I come first, whatever it is. All the time, go back to the washability. Mother really favored this person over me. I am nothing in the house almost. And make things worse now. They've gang up against me and steal me my birthright. And I don't know, somebody was talking about it recently as to the value or the importance of birthright, but apparently then it was a big deal. A big deal. So really and truly, what you have done is condemn me to failure. I'm doomed now. My life not really have much value now because of this thievery. All right, so we see the nature, we can't into some of the what, in terms of what really is at stake. Is it just that, well, I shouldn't say that. Is it that the mother prefer my brother to me? Yeah, but me not take that time in my cry for long. But my birthright, no, that's not something we can shake off. So the what is important then as to how significant is the issue that we're talking about? Yeah, agree?
I think also when Esau went to his father, and I think he had asked, is there nothing left for me? And so it almost seems like as much as he felt hard done by what Jacob did, if him could have get a brother, he would have said, all right, that's fine. And Isaac was like, boy, me give your brother everything. So I can understand, you weren't just sold out, you were left out as well.
Yep, absolutely, right. So the what is mega in terms of that scenario is not something that you can just lightly pass. Yes? And even in Jacob's mind, it sticks because later on, still I wonder whether, if we can pay the price for it. Yeah. So that you can see how huge an issue it is. All right. So the where, what is the context of this is the home family. This is where they normally are living, going about the things. Father says, "Hey, go bring some food, because I like your cooking. I mean, like your things, whatever it is." So all of that is going on as a normal thing. I'm going about my business, but do what it is to please my father. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, as they say in the movies, my mother is scheming up against me, with this boy. By the way, anybody ever stop and think about how dysfunctional our early fathers were? Want to sit down and think about it? As some serious deceit and my gosh. Anyway, all right. So yeah, so that's the context then. It's a normal thing. I go out and do my thing, but in this dysfunctional situation, I'm being schemed against. Yep, there we go.
I think one of the things that's interesting that you brought up as well, brother, is that these are the children of God. If you heard of a situation like this in a godless circumstance, and like, oh, brother scheme against brother for take with them blessings. You say, oh yeah, man, that's godless behavior.
Yeah, the Amorites.
these are the very people that God is leading to Jesus through. And this is the kind of behavior I can imagine from Esau's perspective. It's like, boy, of all the people we're supposed to do these kind of things, you're not supposed to take place here. So I think that plays a part in the context.
Yep, that's it. Okay. Timing, talk about the timing. Who has an insight? Well, yeah, go ahead.
I think it's rough because Esau would have been mentally preparing to receive the blessing. But if this had taken place, you find out you lose the blessing and it came out of the blue, that's bad. But if you are now carrying out the action that is going to lead to you receiving that blessing, you go out in the field, you go hunt, you go prepare the thing, and mentally you're like, okay, finally, as the firstborn, I am receiving my blessing. And then that is when you find out, say, guess what? The blessing just get thief. Just a while ago, your brother come and take away what you did have. The anger there, I feel like, is multiplied because of that particular timing.
I want to add to it too, because I can imagine Esau. This is a big thing now, So I look for the best, so it might take me a little longer to get the things and to prepare it. And it's in that time now that they are there preparing to get the skin put on a man and find clothes. And no, man. No.
When Jacob thought about it and said, no, mommy, I can't do this. And the mother said, listen to me, don't think about it. I will take the curse. You good, just follow me. Boy, wicked mother,
Right. So we're looking at the timing, and all of that is whether that should be leading us to forgiveness. It sounds as if maybe we need to change the framework. It'll move us in the wrong direction. Having said that, one of the things that we say about this whole thing is that don't sugarcoat it, don't deny it. Make sure you identify exactly what it is that the problem is that you are dealing with. So that's it. So afterwards, once you deal with it, you have to come back sometime later on and say, or says, while I was doing that, this happened or whatever it is, just deal with it one time. All right. And the how, I will talk about it a little bit, where the mother is came in and the whole of that, and it's long time from a born. Apparently, she would be favoring him and, whatever it is. So that's part of what it is.
If I can add, Brother Smith,
Yeah,
I think the deception and the way the deception took place as well. You have an ailing father, blind, and you'd think that as the wife of this man and as his child, you are going to be treating him a certain way, and you take advantage of the man's ailments.
Yeah.
The way you deceive him, you impersonate me to take away what is mine. And I just feel like, boy, the how, at least when the birthright was sold, it was a direct way. So, boy, give me this, or you don't get this. It was in my face. I had a choice, and I gave that up. No, you're going behind me back, you impersonate me, you trick my blind dying father, or your blind dying father, and my mother played a critical role in this deception. I feel like the how is like 3 different angles of betrayal for Esau.
All right.
Why him forgive this?
All right. So here's my how now. Why the how is important. How did it get to this? I sold my birthright, so I don't have no right to it. So I need to have that honest understanding. I have lost it because of all of these things, but how else would God have taken it away from me? How could, having sold it, how could he get it? Yes? So all of these things that have happened really is only a mechanism to carry out the sale. Yes? So I need to take responsibility. That's why sometimes it's really painful. That's why the how, as to what is my role in this, is so important in forgiveness. What is my role in this? Why did I sell my birthright? I don't need it. All right, so you're hungry, go eat some food now, right? That's it. That is it. All that has happened here is that I sold it, and there's the God above who says, having sold it, we're taking it away. Not taking it away, we're giving it to the person that you sold it to. And so all of these mechanisms, this disgusting as it might sound to you, it's only to carry out what it is that you agreed to. Does that land well? That's it, David, look up a face that is frightening to me. Go.
It's because, and that's a question I just don't know, it's because he sold his birthright, it's automatic, then his blessing would have been removed?
Yeah, but you sold it.
That's
a blessing. That the birthright, you come to the firstborn, so you sold it.
So yes. You couldn't have gotten the blessing without the birthright?
Couldn't have what?
He could not have gotten the blessing without the birthright?
No, what I'm saying, my understanding is that the firstborn, which is the birthright, gets the blessings, gets a special blessing. So that's it. A special blessing. So having sold it, you have given up the right to that blessing. How you actually, come in 1 second. How it actually happened that the other person get it is happenstance, is just not so relevant. You sold your birthright because you don't want it. Why you fuss about it? No. Go on and see the question, ask it. All right, that's just fear that I have.
Okay, so the birthright and the blessing, they're separate things, but the blessing comes because of the birthright? Okay, so if I sold it to you and you know, why would I need to deceive you to claim it then? If it was so serious of a transaction that, okay, I'm hungry, give me some food and I give you my birthright, then the benefits automatically follow. I think that's the part that would be challenging for me as a firstborn, you know, you guys went behind my back, pretend like it's my skin, and like it was really thought out. Like that's deep deception.
So let me go back to the other part of the how now I hear you. This is a transaction. I sell you my coat. That's it. I sell you my coat, right? The coat that I have sold you comes from my father. It's my father that gave me this coat, and then my father wants me to have this coat. Okay. It is coming to you, Tommy. This transaction that I made with you, my father has no idea at all about it. So he's not a part of that story, etc. If my father knew that I was selling you the coat, he would have stopped it. No way that will happen. Okay? All right. So that's the issue. I have sold my right to the coat, and now I have lost the coat. I wouldn't say I've lost the coat. Now the coat has gone to the rightful owner now, having sold it, through whatever means. What is my force? Why should I do? Make Tammy go before you. She have a hand. She got hand up. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that the blessing and the birthright were two distinct things. So the
Yes.
birthright was the more material gift. So that is the actual that you're going to get twice. As a firstborn, you get twice of what any other child has or something. It's a physical gift, while the blessing now is more of a spiritual concept. Basically, it's almost like, without using the word blessing, like favor, like you're getting the father's favor on you. So if you remember afterwards when Jacob was dying, he gave the different blessings to all 12. So it didn't have anything to do with being firstborn or so on. Okay. And then Joseph had negotiated for his two children to get blessings as well. So blessing is more of a spiritual concept as opposed to the birthright. But if you want to reconcile it, because I'd love to see where this framework is going, because the framework kind of getting us more angry. We're angrier than we were before. So just to reconcile it back to this story, maybe what we could say is that the fact that Jacob or Esau allowed the sale of his birthright may have opened the door for Jacob to say, well, if I already have the birthright, I should just close the deal and get the blessing as well. Like, can we do it? Right. Can we just do it that way?
I don't want to leave the blessing part yet, though,
Yes.
because there's an important part of the scripture that says, don't you have anything more to give me? That's a key part. That means that something went with the birthright.
If you look at
it's more than that. Because go ahead, Stephen. That he did say, "Do you have anything more for me?"
Genesis 27, verse 36. It says, Esau said, "Isn't he rightly named Jacob? This is the second time he has taken advantage of me. Exactly. He took my birthright, and now he's taken my blessing." Then he asked, "Haven't you reserved any blessing for me?" Isaac answered Esau, "I have made him lord over you, and have made all his relatives his servants, and I have sustained him with grain and new wine. So what can I possibly do for you, my son?" Esau said to his father, "Do you only have one blessing, my father? Bless me too, my father." And the blessing that came after was essentially a reinforcement of the blessing that was already given to Jacob, where Esau had to serve him. So I don't know. The way Esau says he took my birthright, it doesn't sound as though Isaac didn't know that the birthright was given or that it was secret. It almost sounds like it was clear that this birthright has been passed. I don't know if I'm presuming. I don't know if I'm presuming that.
He said he took. I don't sound that way to me. Because why would he then? No, sir.
I mean, if he said that this is the second time he deceived me, he took my birthright, now he has taken my blessing.
Yeah, but who is he talking to? He's just saying.
No, I'm talking to East.
Yeah, Isaac. But he's upset now. What is the first time he saw his father know about this? I don't know.
My presumption is that if for birthright to be given, it has to be established that this is what you are getting. if Esau can say to his dying father Isaac, who is making his blessing before he dies, that he has taken my birthright, how could the father who gives what is the birthright not know that the birthright has been taken unless he has given the things that should be given to Jacob? Is it that the birthright is usually given after the blessing? Because my understanding of this is Isaac is about to die and he is giving a blessing. The birthright is the amount of goods. So these are my stuff. You get this as the firstborn, secondborn get this. If he doesn't know that that Esau has given up his birthright to Jacob, does that mean that Esau has been given the things that the firstborn is supposed to get?
1 second. So what I'm saying to you though, is that you remember that Isaac, hello? Give me the mic to Howard. Remember that Isaac is thinking that he's giving Esau the blessing,
exactly.
So that's what I'm saying to you. Are the birthright? So when Esau comes to him, as far as he's concerned, this is the person who has the birthright, who I'm going to give these special blessings to.
Exactly.
And he does.
Exactly.
I don't know if that is one and the same. I don't know if the birthright of the firstborn automatically transfers the blessing of the first. I know the birthright of the firstborn, the material possessions that are owed to you as firstborn. If I sell that, then you can have my stuff. I don't know if that means automatically that I am no longer the firstborn child and the blessing that's supposed to go to the firstborn child is attached to the birthright of the firstborn. That's not what I get from when I read.
I want to disagree slightly with Stephen and support Brother Simmons' point, is that if Isaac knew that the birthright, Esau already had the birthright, there would be no need even for him to be deceived by Rebekah and Jacob, because Isaac would have already known that Jacob is in line to get the blessing because he has the birthright. Obviously, that was not the case. That's how the deception now comes in. So what it seemed is that Isaac had probably no idea that the birthright was actually stolen, or Esau was already deceived. And then in his blessing now, thinking that, as Brother Smith said, Esau is my firstborn and he's going to get the blessing, not probably knowing even that the birthright was already stolen from Esau. So as you said, I don't think, well, even in Isaac's mind, he had no knowledge from what the scriptures have been saying, that Jacob had the birthright and it was stolen from Esau. And based on the whole chronology of events, it seemed to be saying that he just went about naturally just bestowing the blessing, thinking, of course, that Esau had the birthright, and by him being firstborn, he now is entitled to the blessing. And that's how I actually see it.
Brother Tenant, Sister Soraya.
For me, it isn't important whether Isaac knew or he didn't know. The key thing is whether they're two separate things. Yes. If we look at it in terms of forgiveness, if it's only one thing, then I agree with the argument you made before. There's only one thing, birthright and the blessing are together. And so in working out whether or not I'm going to be able to forgive, I can say, well, it's really my fault because I gave it away. And so there's nothing really to blame Jacob for, if it is one thing. If it is not one thing, that argument falls down completely.
Suppose one thing follows the other.
And fair enough.
Two different things, but they follow one another.
If they follow one another, fair enough. I agree with the point.
Right?
I agree.
In other words, that
I accept that what I'm saying. I accept that. What I'm saying is,
yeah.
It says if they're one thing or one thing follow the other, your argument makes sense. It falls down if they're not one thing or if one thing does not follow the other. And I don't see from the scriptures where either it is one thing or one thing necessarily follows the other. Okay. That's a challenge that I'm having.
Right. Not being content.
Yeah, I agree with what David said. It doesn't matter if Isaac knew or not, which I think he probably knew because the things would have divided up already, but that's not the point. The point is, I think they're two separate things. As you remember, you mentioned before, what part are we talking about? What deception are we talking about? So one would think they're two different things. Also, I don't believe that it followed my perception. It don't follow the who born first, because Jacob gave it to all of his sons. I think it's a choice, and because he had a favorite, he had chosen to give it to Esau. That's what I get.
Okay, we're saying it. We're saying it as if it is one thing. And there are blessings given to different people. It's not the same blessing necessarily. That's why he was able to bawl out and say, "You don't have anything more for me." Something there's no question at all. That is not the same little blessing that every little 12 scribe people get. It's clear that there was something that he was deceived out of that was unique to his role as the firstborn. That is me. But anyway, I'm reading into the scriptures, because why would he bawl out so if he could have just get a little blessing and go about the business? Go ahead. Anyway.
My
Yes.
biggest contention, Brother Smith,
Yes.
with that connection
Yes.
is if Jacob recognized that deceiving his father would have provided a curse upon him, if Rebekah recognized that deceiving Isaac would have had to put that curse on her, and Jacob knows that the birthright has been sold based on Esau's agreement, and the birthright being sold automatically carries the blessing, why don't you just say, Esau sold me the birthright, so this blessing is mine? Why would you go through this grand deception that carries a curse that one of you have to bear, if from a legal perspective, it has been, and the Bible made it very clear that Esau despised his birthright, essentially highlighting that it was taken away from him. If Esau signed it over, you get the blessing by just saying, hey, Esau signed it over. Esau admits that he signed it over. Why then, if the blessing automatically comes with the birthright, is there any contention? I don't garner that is an automatic, and I feel like that plays a big role in why the forgiveness is hard. Because you have robbed me twice. Well, not robbed. You conned me out of the first, and you robbed me the second time. That is, if it was one action, it bad and not so bad. Now I feel expressly hard done by, because you get something from me. You're the younger brother, you're gone with all of the things that me supposed to get. That I accept that, boy, it was hard pressed, but you take that. You come take my blessing too.
Okay, all right. All right. I think we have to leave it there, right? Because I don't think we're going to resolve it. Let us go back now to the issue as to whether the framework actually leads us to greater forgiveness or not. Let me just tell you why. Yeah. Please.
But, I mean, leaving the blessing on the birthright, as you said, this dysfunctional relationship, it goes back again, as you said, the nature of the relationship. Obviously, Rebekah had nothing really to do with Esau, which is very bad. That's your son. That's your son. And that in itself led up to, or fed significantly to the relationship between the two brothers and how they dealt with each other.
All
so
right.
It's really that dysfunctional.
When they leave the Esau Jacob thing, otherwise we're down in a rabbit hole till next year. All right, so we're moving from that. So let us move now. Let us move now to find out how this would work. Let's go back to the who. If we are in a situation where we have a relationship, right, and forgiveness is an issue, go back to our little skit where Fonzie and Steve have the problem. They are brothers. They more kill their mother because they always fight one another. Come on, guys. Come on, man. You make your mother blow off because of blood pressure, because they can't just get along. So that's where the who come in. The relationship. What are we talking about here? This is not a stranger. This is somebody that we have to live with. Yes? Maybe his family, his husband and wife. This is, till death do us pass. Are we going to let forgiveness separate us when you could have let it go? So that's where the who come in, right? So we can look at the negative side where we come to the reality of what's going on. Right now, we want to look at the other side, which is how can this help us? So the first thing is what is the nature of a relationship? Who is involved? And remember, when we look at who God is involved in everything. So therefore, again, when we look at this, am I keeping this in my craw when I can't really kneel down and pray properly because I'm not pleasing to God? That's where the who come in. The what? How do I find? I don't know why we're going to Esau and Jacob. We could have found something else. But whatever it is that this is something material. As it turns out, as a matter of fact, later on, the man said, "I don't want your things, watch them. Me have as much as you. I don't need your things." So if you look at it from that point of view as to whether this is life-threatening, this is whatever it is you sufficiently important, overriding, that I need to still have unforgiveness in my heart? Or can I just say, it's okay. I don't need that. I can do without that. I can let that pass. Is there a way that we can look at things from that perspective to say that, what is it that is really standing? What is it? Is it my pride? Is it whatever it is how people think about me, that I tell me about my mother and I don't fight? What is it? What is it? When you come down to the core, do I want to displease God because I'm still holding on to this what? Those are some of the questions. That's why the framework will work, if you look at it from the other point of view. And the context, okay, fine. This is just a question of, yeah, okay, it's happening in church and somebody look at us and think whatever. But not gonna make that bother me. I know who I am. I have my self-esteem. I know my values. I'm not going to make that be a problem to me. So I can let that go. Am I going to let pride and how people think about me make me have up my brother and mash up my family? No, I'm not going down that road. Those are some of the things that you have to look at. What difference it made? So tell me something, if you had done it 2 years ago, it would make a difference? Really? Mike?
Could we look at the when differently?
Okay.
Is it instructive that in the story, the forgiveness didn't take place until years after?
Yep.
So suppose you go through the who and the what, and you aren't able to minimize it how you're minimizing. Because that's the purpose of the who and what, to minimize the issue. You aren't able to. And so you say, you know what? Let time take care of it. And then after time heal all wounds. After time, the severity, the sore isn't as raw at that point in time. Is there anything in the Bible that says that, boy, sometimes time can just be allowed to pass and allow the rawness of the sore to ease down a little bit?
All right, so Stephen will answer the question. But let me just say something about time. Sometimes people say that time heals, but only if you use the time in a proper way. I can ruminate and go back over all the bad things, and the time is only going to make it worse for me. Yes? So how we use the time is important. What it is that you're pursuing in your mind is important, as against just saying, okay, let me just leave it alone. Yeah? Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I was going to say that when you get a cut, if it is infected and it's not properly cleaned, time will kill you. Whereas if you clean it, time will heal it. So it depends on what you're doing in that time period. I think that will determine whether that length of time is acceptable for forgiveness versus that length of time is poisonous. If my mindset is I want to forgive, I am struggling to forgive, so I am doing everything that I can with each day to get closer to the point where my forgiveness aligns with what God wants. Versus, boy, making I forgive, so I put it down and leave it to time. And hope that eventually I will be able to forgive. I think it's unlikely that the latter will lead to forgiveness. Amen. But I also feel that God accepts the former, that he knows my heart and my mindset, and I will eventually get there.
Okay, cool. What's a little word in terms of parsing, sir? You were saying I'm minimizing the things when you're looking at the thing. It's not minimized. It's just put them in. Huh? put them in context. I would prefer to call it that. Because not minimizing it, it's just looking at the reality. Go ahead, Tammy. Last word.
No, I just don't know that God accepts that. Forgiveness is a command, right? So I don't know that if I'm caught in a state of unforgiveness
Okay.
and my time has ended, I don't know that
Yeah.
that time is afforded.
So you need to start to work on it right away, you're saying. Yes? Okay. We need a speaker of some sort. I see a mic in a man's hand. Thank you very much, Brother Stephen. All right. So that's it. And we talk about the cow already, some of what went before. And the motive is the hardest one. Last word. Adult class, still just give me 1 second more. The why, please do not impute motives. Do not impute motives. We're not God. We don't know what's going on in the people's head. All right? So, okay, cool. Thank you very much.
All right, I know the classes are preparing for the prize giving and award service. Fundamental class, is there anybody to report? Are they doing the same thing? No. Teenage class? No. No. This class? Definitely no. All right. Steve-O and friends and Franzi. And we also have, where's Sister Debbie? What's her name again? Clarice, the one with the high blood pressure. Sister Madge, them two boys, they're going to kill her, you know. They know that she have high blood pressure. All right, anyway. Just an update before we go. We're going to sing happy birthday for those persons who have birthday this week. But I need to give some additional information as it relates to the special contribution. There's some information that I didn't mention that I think it's pertinent that we mention it so a person can be informed properly as they give. Just to let you know that brother, the young man, Andre Blake, is a member of the church. He goes to the Mona congregation. In addition to that, when we got involved, because I have to tell you this, we got involved, somebody called him and said that, this is what I was told, that their account, they need to make some payment, but their account is giving trouble. If he can allow them, the friend, if you can allow me to send some money through your account, we will compensate you for your trouble. So what I heard, the first money that was sent through, he actually got $50,000. And he was arrested separately for that, spent a weekend in jail. And then he actually let through another amount and he got some money for that. And that's how the police realized that something not right. And that's how he's both occasion, Mocha arrested him. The truth is not, I can't even say truth. I was told by his mom that he did not process the thing properly. And as a result, they took advantage of him. And hence why she's reaching out for the help. I just felt earlier or if you decide to contribute, you know exactly what you're contributing towards. All right, so on the last Sunday of this month, we will, so people can decide, use your conscience, whatever,